in order to decide the honor of it. That's why Koreans might be very nosy to you sometimes. They might ask a lot of personal questions to you. But why do they need to know if I ever had a girlfriend? 기분이 안 좋아. 몸 상태가 안 좋아. What else can be 안 좋아 in the Korean language? 머리가 안 좋아. 성적이 안 좋아. You guys made me laugh. Why don't we quickly move on to the third topic? It's regarding the communication skill. Technically, grammatically, it could be correct, but still you might make mistake. I mean, we still have native language in the brains. If you keep talking something in your native language structure, you might make mistakes. So let me designate it as topic-centered language. This is just my term, okay? This is not like academic term or any other thing. I would just name it whatever I want. So topic-centered language. I would like to specifically compare the Korean language with the English, okay? Topic-centered language, whereas subject-centered language. So what would you say in Korean language when you have a headache? In English, definitely you start your sentence with I, right? I have a headache. That might be definitely the initial impression or the reaction, the thing that came to your mind, right? That could be definitely the first thing. I have a headache. In Korean, what would you say? 머리통이 있어요. Sorry, I'm laughing. That's exactly what I am going to talk about today. You got the point. I have a headache or my head hurts. Oh, yeah. In English, you would start your sentence with I, but Korean language, 두통이 있어요. Similarly, with Owen said 머리통이 있어요. In that case, we say 두통이 있어요. That works, but we start our sentence with 머리, the head. 머리가. And then we finish our sentence with hurt. 머리가 아파요. 머리가 아파요. This is the one that I am feeling hurts. 머리가 아파요. So superficially, it looks like you're using the subject like 머리, right? 머리가, because you're using the subject particle 머리가 아파요. But if you try to translate English into Korean directly, and then starting your sentence like 저는 두통이 있어요, that works. But in a more natural and native like Korean way, you need to start the sentence with 머리가. 머리가 아파요. Similarly, what would you say if the button of your clothes has fallen off? Then in that situation, what would you say? You kind of have lost it. In that situation, you would also start your sentence with I, right? I have lost a button. But, like I told you, we more specifically focus on the topic. That's why I kind of designated the topic as topic. We say 단추가, the button. Why I'm pronouncing it like button? Button. 단추가 떨어졌어요. Let me just type this in the comments. 단추가 떨어졌어요. 단추가 떨어졌어요. 네, 맞아요. button. We say button. It's like the button that you would press. That's a button. But as for the button of your clothes, we say 단추. So 단추가 떨어졌어요. Please read the comments. 단추가 떨어졌어요. So we rather focus on the topic itself, not just starting with the subject. So that was like topic versus subject. Maybe we could cover one more thing. I think I'm kind of running out of the time. I would say listener-focused language. This is what I would also like to designate today. This is going to be the Korean language aspect, whereas speaker-focused language is English. So let's say a stranger just approach to you and then say like, oh, hey, how are you? How's it going? And then let's say you're really not sure who this person is. What would you say in that situation? Like you might definitely say, do I know you, right? You're focusing on I. Do I know you? But in Korean language, can you guess what you can say? We don't say 제가 당신을 알아요? 맞아요. 저 아세요? Focusing on the fact that if the listener know you or not. So rather than focusing on do I know you, this fact, but we kind of consider the listener. So that's why I kind of named it listener-centered language. As for the Korean language, the ending parts, like verbs always come at the very end of a sentence, and then a lot of grammatical aspects regarding the politeness level, tenses, and your even intentions are all combined at the end with the base form of the verb. So in order to decide the honor fix, Koreans will be very curious about the other person's age, for example, whether the other person is older than you, then we might definitely use honor fix. That's why Koreans might be very nosy to you sometimes. They might ask a lot of personal questions to you. Combining with this fact and also the listener-centered language thingy, we kind of more focus on the listener. 저 아세요? Yeah, 저 means I in a polite way. That's right. It means like I or me in polite way. 아세요 comes from the verb 알다. 알다. To know. This 세요 ending is a polite way of asking something or making a favor. We would finish sentence with this is 해요. But why do they need to know if I ever had a girlfriend? They're being like playful. Yeah. So we would more focus on the listener aspect. And then another understandable example in this context might be this case. Let's say you want the other person to show their ID to you. In that case, you would definitely ask like, may I see your ID card, right? What would you say in Korean language? May I see your ID card? ID card is 신분증. 신분증. Let me write Korean for you. 신분증. So now you know that we need to focus on the listener point of view, so to speak. So we say, let me type the comments. In direct translation, 제가 당신의 신분증을 봐도 돼요? We never say that. We say 신분증 좀 보여주시겠어요? Yeah, 신분증 보여주세요 also works. It sounds more straightforward than the sentence I just typed it, but that also works. Totally grammatically correct and also a native-like expression. So we focus on the fact that please show your ID to me. You're more focusing on the listener's point of view. You might make mistakes regarding this point even though your sentences are completely correct in terms of grammar, but it sounds really awkward if you kind of think something in your native-like way and then kind of directly translate that in the Korean language. 더 좀 for soften the tone, right? When we ask something, when we're making a favor, and then when we want to sound not in direct, straightforward way, we put 좀. By the way, my fringe are so long. I know I need to cut them off. I will go to the hair salon soon. And then the last point I would like to say regarding this communication skill is that let me use the screen as a cheating paper. Partial versus the whole. That's the one I would like to talk about today. At this point, the partial, like we are focusing on the partial or specific things, whereas English might be talking something in a whole way. What I mean is, in English, you might say, I don't understand you. In that sentence, that you might be your way of acting, your thought, maybe your feelings, or I'm not exactly understand what you're talking about. It can be various things, right? And in the Korean language, we kind of distinguish all the cases. So we would rather focus on specific and the partial things. So let me type that in the comment sections as well. Hold on a second. So instead of just saying 난 너가 이해가 안 돼, I don't understand you, we say 너 말이 이해가 안 돼. For example, I don't understand your words. That's the literal meaning. Or 내 생각이 이해가 안 돼. I don't understand your thought. So that's actually the common mistake that I used to make in English. I am so used to distinguishing whether it's the other person's behavior, whether it's their thought, whether it's their intention or not. I am so used to dividing all the cases. I used to say that in English as well. I don't understand your thought, or I don't understand your intention. That might work, but in a more general way, you say like, I don't understand you, right? But in Korean language, we kind of distinguish all the cases. 네 생각이 이해가 안 돼. 네 의도가 이해가 안 돼. For example, your intention is not what I can understand right now. That's the literal translation. So we would rather more focus on the partial thing. And then similarly, when you don't feel well, you would say, I don't feel well, right? I don't feel well. So it can be anything, whether you're feeling bad emotionally, whether you're feeling not well physically, it can be anything. And then in that situation as well, we say, for example, 기분이 안 좋아. 기분이 안 좋아. In that case, we are focusing on the 기분, your emotional feeling. So I'm not feeling well emotionally. That's what you mean. And then maybe if you focus on the physical state, then we say 몸 상태가 안 좋아. The condition of your body is not really good. So we distinguish all the cases differently. Whereas you just say the same thing in general. I'm not feeling well. I don't feel well. 기분이 안 좋아. 몸 상태가 안 좋아. Or that could be Konglish, but we also say 컨디션이 안 좋아. Specifically, we are talking about the physical condition. 컨디션이 안 좋아. What else can be 안 좋아 in the Korean language? 기분, 몸 상태, condition. Or maybe you can specifically talk about your body parts like 어깨가 안 좋아. You think your shoulder conditions are not really good. You say 어깨가 안 좋아. So it can be various things, and then we specifically kind of denote all the cases. I would like to designate it as a partial focus language. 머리가 안 좋아. Yeah, that worked. 성적이 안 좋아. You guys made me laugh. 성적이 안 좋아. My score or result of the test is not good. Yeah, that works. Yeah, 머리가 안 좋아 is like you're not intelligent. So specifically, you can put any noun with the subject marker 이가, something 이가 안 좋아. All right, so that's it for me. That's all I've prepared today. Wow, it's been almost an hour. Ooh, 가지 마요. Please don't go. I need to go bad. 한국어, 영어보다 좀 더 하시면 좋을 것 같아요. 정말요? Then maybe I will prepare the only Korean talking live streaming. Alright, so it was really fun chatting with you today. I hope you liked it. And if you learn all the aspects in a more systematic way, check out my online course from my website, minjiteacheskorean.com. Every week, you and me will be meeting in the class, and then in the class materials, it covered not only the grammatical elements, but also the cultural aspects, and then also we'll be focusing on the pronunciation mistakes and so on. So it's going to be really great for you because I am providing my students or the customers high quality handout and one-on-one feedback. So your pronunciation will be very enhanced. Okay, 폭삭 속았수다. Now I know that meaning. What is 폭삭 속았수다? What is that meaning? 폭삭 속았수다? 나 폭삭 늙었수다? It means like, thank you for your effort, right? 수고하셨습니다. Thank you so much for joining today's live Korean class. Bye!